Hi, this is Sierra Schaff, and I'm presenting on why it's relevant that we make urbanization more sustainable, such as reducing the use of automobiles in big cities. So first off, urban areas hold large populations, which is why they should be held to a higher, stricter standard, because humans have the greatest impact in large numbers. So for example, Tokyo has 37 million residents, New York 8 million, and San Francisco has a much smaller population, but in a very dense area. Los Angeles, for example, had a worse smog issue back in the 40s. It was so bad that people had a hard time seeing. Their eyes were watering. They were coughing. They even wore gas masks in public. And it took 9 years for scientists to connect this smog to automobiles. But once the city began to regulate their car emissions, air quality became tremendously better. And we're really dependent on fossil fuels. A large amount of pollution that goes into the atmosphere is from burning fossil fuels, and anywhere from 50 to 90% of air pollution in urban areas are caused by automobile emissions. And 88% of Americans own cars, so we're very dependent on them. And coral reefs are one of the Earth systems that are suffering from this excess CO2. So they're being bleached because the CO2 in the atmosphere is mixing with water to create carbonic acid. And 40% of the world's coral reefs are already bleached. And coral reefs are very important for oxygen production because of the algae that lives there, not to mention the other great amount of biodiversity that depend on coral reefs. And deforestation adds to the issue. With all the deforestation happening today, we're diminishing our greatest defense against CO2 emissions. So, trees soak up CO2 during cellular respirations, but humans are causing them to decline, and we're carelessly throwing CO2 into the atmosphere, so it's easy to see why we're in such a climate emergency. So we're reaching tipping points and danger zones in our Earth's atmosphere. Scientists speculate that if we return to 450 parts per million carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, we will see irreversible and detrimental effects on Earth's systems. So ice will no longer be able to form on Earth, and permafrost will be exposed and start melting. And ancient reserves of methane will be released, and methane holds 80 times more heat than CO2. So the Earth will heat even faster if that happens. So it's important that we act quickly and act carefully to reevaluate and compensate for our toxic behaviors such as automobile emissions. And we are headed for 450 parts per million CO2 by 2030. So unless serious action is taken, we're going to leave behind a warmer, less sustainable, and different Earth for the generations of the future. But together we can make the difference.